Here we are again, standing on the cusp of Black History Month, or the month I like to call when bigots and racists believe it's time to let their bigot and racist flag fly. Debbie Fillmore here thought she would get an early start this year. See, Debbie was in Target recently, and she found the displays being set up for Black History Month insufferable. And she had to do a return, and she just couldn't wait to leave. So insufferable. Now, Debbie lacked the conviction to stand 10 toes down in her post on X, and she went private there. But, Debbie, you're not private here. you forgot your YouTube channel. You're not private. So I went through some of your YouTubes and I found the following, and I found it very interesting.
And she started, when my kids started getting into, like 5th grade, 6th grade, the bullying began. Then we started seeing the interpersonal conflict, the bullying because of whatever, they were different or something. And I said, people talk all the time about socialization and homeschooling, but the socialization is why I homeschooled. I homeschooled so that my kids could learn how to be decent human beings who didn't treat other kids like they were somehow in a prison gang. And they had to
So Debbie, if you would, explain to us where's the decent human being in this tweet that you're trying to teach your children to become. I tried to ask this question on where you posted it, but of course your tweets are protected because you went private. So would you all join me in asking Debbie this question on her YouTube channel? Thank you. Let me know how it turns out for you all.
If you are not a demon, why does black joy make you feel uncomfortable? If you are not an altogether wicked being, why is the joy of a group of people insufferable for you? Yes, because we need to start addressing these issues from a diabolical standpoint. Sometimes when I ponder on these things as an African person, as a black person, it's hard for me to understand why a group of people, or rather some people from a particular group of people, get angry by the joy of another group of people. And it's only these people. It's only them. We have how many other races of people out there? But it's only these people every time. But they they bite them when the topic of black people come up. They they vex for no reason. Every day I ask myself, what did black people ever do to these people? Every day I ask myself this question. What did we ever do to them folks? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But they get so pissed, so riled up, so uncomfortable by the things that have to do with black people. Like I said, it's something diabolical going on here, and it needs to be looked into. And something else I feel like is at play here. It's an historical point that I want to bring up right now, and I want you guys to let me know what you think of this point, this opinion, in the comment section. You know how over time we have deciphered that, unlike what the colonizers wanted us to believe, that the reason why they went about colonizing the world is because they want to do the world a favor. The rest of the world were just backward and uncivilized, barbaric folks that they needed to show the light. That was a lie, and we've deciphered that, right? Like way before colonization, these people were coming from a place of severe lack, like severe darkness. It's crazy that Africa is called the dark continent when these people, if you look into their history, it was pretty dark there. They battled with different plagues, the Black Plague, for example, and they were also warring amongst themselves there. They were killing themselves left, right, center in Europe. And historians have even said that it was because of just how much they were warring and killing themselves over there in Europe. That's why they were so good with unaliving other groups of people, because for hundreds of years they had good practice with unaliving themselves. And even till date, they are still unaliving themselves, but I digress. And it's very interesting that these people like to talk about black on black crime all the time, but white on white crime though, it's very historical. It goes way back. Okay. But back to the point. These people historically were coming from a place of lack. They were coming from a place of sadness, darkness, and just altogether misery, right? Because of all the things that they had to deal with over there in Europe before colonization. But then at some point in time, they figured out that they can use other groups of people to elevate themselves. They wanted to have what other people had. But because they could not fairly compete, because they do not compare, they decide to go about getting this stuff that they wanted for themselves using unethical means. And that was what they did during colonization and slavery. We know the truth now. The reason why colonization happened is because these people were jealous of the rest of the world. Like I have said more times than I can count now, if you want to know about true world history, look at their museums. The motivating factor for colonization was jealousy and the need to take from other groups of people. These people, again, reminder, were coming from a place of pain, misery, suffering, all of that. But they saw what other groups of people had going for themselves. And they were what? Jealous. These other people had in abundance. They were doing great. They were happy. They had kingdoms. They had empires. They had fertile lands. They had food. They were not dealing with the bombastic plague, however that plague is, pronounced, and black plagues, and, all of those, sad things that were happening to them over there in Europe. They were living with nature. They were just doing great. It's like, the universe just was pleased with them and was blessing them. But the same can't be said for them over there in Europe. Their jealousy of these other groups of people motivated them, and they did colonization. But I feel like, and here's the point I'm trying to make, I know I went in circles here for a very good while, just going like that, because I'm struggling here to even bring my thoughts into words and try and make you guys understand, but I hope you guys can get it. So, yeah. I feel like that same jealousy is still at play in 2024. Because they were jealous for a very long time, and they focused on this jealousy, and it's the jealousy that motivated them, that pushed them out there to go do all of the crazy things that they did, right? I feel like because of how long they pondered and dwelled on jealousy and let jealousy take over their actions, like let their jealousy drive them to do stuff, they were jealous for so long. They were dealing with lack for so long. They were coming from a place of sadness for so long, and I feel like that all that negativity, dealing with all of that for so long, somehow found its way to their biological makeup. And that's why now, even though they are in abundance, even though now they are supposed to be happy, they did all of this for their happiness, the colonization, the slavery, the multiple genocides across the globe. They did all of this for their happiness, so they can put themselves up there, so that they can be happy, they can change their situation. So they did everything that they did so they can change their story. But still, they still find themselves miserable. And this guy made a video talking about white history, by the way. If you missed it, please check it out. That was very insightful. Yeah, they're still miserable even after all that they did. And we still see the jealousy, showing its ugly head, the historic jealousy that they have been, dealing with, showing its ugly head even in 2024. Because deep down, I feel like these people, like this guy said, still dealing with some emptiness inside. They call it blood memory, right? DNA memory. Yeah. The DNA, the blood remembers emotions. Even emotions that, you did not live, or how do they say it? It's not your immediate emotions, but we talk about epigenetics and generational trauma and all of that. When we have this conversation, we only talk about how all of these things that happened in the past affected us and how we inherited certain traumas from our ancestors. But people don't really talk about how did the people who were inflicting the trauma and the things that were motivating them to inflict this trauma on people globally, how did all of that affect them genetically as well? Even though these people were not exactly them colonizers, the ones that were really on ground doing the colonizing, The colonizers are their forefathers. They share blood, DNA with these people. So just like we inherited, certain traumas from our ancestors, they too inherited things from their ancestors. I don't know if they call theirs generational trauma as well, but they inherited some stuff and it's in the blood memory, right? So right now, just like how their ancestors could not stand seeing us happy, they wanted to snatch that happiness away. Our happiness made them pissed and uncomfortable, and they wanted the happiness for themselves. If I can't be happy mentality, they should not be happy. I should take it away from myself. I should take their ish from myself. I should use their ish to build me up. They too are exhibiting these traits, not knowing why. They too just see black joy and they're uncomfortable by black joy. And it happens like this. Before they're even having the time to process what's going on, the blood memories already, and it has come out, either with the words or with the typing on Twitter, on X. That's what it's called now. But it's not a normal behavior to see a group of people happy and you start feeling sad. It's not normal behavior for people's happiness to make you uncomfortable. It's not normal for people's happiness, for people's joy to make you feel insufferable. That's not normal. Something deeper going on there. That's why I decided, I went to the historic scientific route, but of course I would want to know what you guys think of it. But yeah, it's not normal. That's not the normal human go-to reaction when they see joy. That's not it at all.
Here's one of the displays that Target is using for Black History Month this year. It's a black girl with a hoodie on that says, "Black joy is revolutionary." And this commenter says, well, where's the white joy shirts? White kids, how come you don't have anything for white joy? Why black joy? Wouldn't have white joy? And I'm getting other comments asking the same exact thing and saying, well, if there were white joy shirts, that place would be burned to the ground. Just saying. And it's funny that you say that, because in this country's history, white joy has been associated with burning things to the ground. Whether it's burning crosses for intimidation, burning black people who just want to swim, or just burning and blowing up entire city blocks. This was 1985, by the way. Asking why we can celebrate black joy and not white joy takes us back to the same conversation of what is culture and do white people have culture? And the answer is no. There is no such thing as white culture in this country. And if there is, I'd argue that white culture is nothing but oppression. So no, you shouldn't want to wear a hoodie that says white joy is revolutionary, because I'll have you arrested for a hate crime.
What about white joy? They always do that. Again, I would still tie it back to the history. It's this mentality of, oh my goodness, they are happy, but I'm not happy. What about my happiness? Who's stopping you from being happy? They are joyful. What about my joy? Who is holding you back from being joyful? It's crazy because, my goodness, you can still be happy. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, we want a world where everybody is even happy. And not the kind of happiness that your ancestors had, where, you guys, their happiness sent them to go burn people's towns down. Or the quest for their happiness sent them to go burn other people. Not that kind of happiness. Happiness where, genuine, pure, good happiness. Not them demonic stuff that they've been doing for centuries now. My goodness. Why does it always have to be what about? And it's only them. It's only them. Somebody posted a video talking about black hair is beautiful. Then you see them in the comments, what about white hair? You can go and make a video talking about how beautiful white hair is. Nobody cares. Somebody talks about how, oh my goodness, black queens, they love their black queens. Oh, what about the white queens? Why are these people in competition with black people? If you cared so much about white joy, why have you not been talking about white joy since? Why do you care about white joy now when we're talking about black joy? Oh no. These people are crazy, I swear. They have serious issues they need to go sit in a corner and think of how to tackle for real, because a lot of these behaviors are not normal. You just can't let black people be great. But they will not succeed. They will fail. They will not succeed. Right under their noses like this. Now so they go see, we go just they glow. And again, it's only this group of people. This is why I say this thing is very historic, because you don't see other races of people acting this way. It's only them that act this way. We don't see other races of people acting this way because other races of people don't exactly have a history of jealousy. They don't. This is a very particular kind of behavior we see from a very particular group of people. When it's Black History Month, every other person is silent. Like, they're either celebrating with Black folks during Black History Month, or, they're minding their business. But them folks, yeah. What is it about us really that just makes these people's mind go gaga? What do you think about all of this? What do you think about, seeing people happy, them seeing people happy, or let me not generalize, some of them seeing people happy, and then they just get so, uncomfortable. They start using words like, oh, it's insufferable. It's insufferable for them that people are happy. What do you think about it? Like I said, it's about time we start looking at these things from like a diabolical standpoint. Well, what do you guys think though? Let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.